Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to COD Zombies HQ. This is a special report. If you do enjoy this video, be sure to smash that thumbs up button down below and subscribe if you're not already for more Zombies news updates. In this video, I want to talk about the history of the concept of a super Easter egg within Black Ops 3 Zombies, covering reasons why people thought it did exist and why they didn't, and ending with a brief discussion of where we're at today on the topic of the super Easter egg. The concept of a super Easter egg within Black Ops 3 first emerged once we started to notice that within the new DLC maps coming out, on the map selection screen, there was a marker of whether or not you completed an Easter egg. The summoning key would be lit up on Shadows of Evil and then gate worms on the Giant and every DLC map following if you completed the main Easter egg on that map. As a result of the game tracking your Easter egg completion progress, people rightly believed that it would do something or trigger something for people that completed all of the Easter eggs inside of DLC 4. Before the release of DLC 4 Revelations, a lot of people weren't sure whether or not you could complete the main Easter egg if you didn't complete all the Easter eggs before. So going into Revelations, I know a lot of people, including myself, make sure they had all the other Easter eggs completed, but once the map actually came out, a few things happened. Firstly, people noticed that this spark or wisp in spawn only appeared for those that completed all of the other Easter eggs. And secondly, the progress for finding the steps for the main Easter eggs was strikingly slow. 6 days after DLC 4 was released on September the 13th, we got this post on the COD Zombies subreddit entitled "Now You Have Two Ways," published by The Real DF. The Real DF, or Decryptor Fixer, is one of the most prominent data miners in the Zombies community, who is able to look into the code and the scripts within the code to decipher information about steps for Easter eggs or unfound Easter eggs within the code of the game. In the post, he detailed some steps for the main Easter egg, but it concluded with this line: "Use the worm, get the real AS, now let's wait for everybody to get the map, and get super." This is the first instance of somebody with access to the code and somebody the community considers truthful, suggesting the fact not only that there is a super Easter egg, but that only once the map releases for all platforms will it be unlocked and available to complete. 2 days later, on September the 15th, two major things happened. The main Revelations Easter egg was completed for the first time by a Twitch user named BigHack225 and his team, and following that, the community discovered that once you beat the Revelations Easter egg, you now have access to the RK5 as a starting pistol on all the other maps. And also that day, we found out the purpose of the wisp or spark at spawn in Revelations, and the purpose of which was to put inside the mystery box in Samantha's room, making all the weapons you receive on the map pack-a-punched, as well as giving you access to Takeo's katana. Following that and the community's general disappointment at the final cutscene on Revelations, on September 18th, The Real DF made this post entitled "Guys Please" to the COD Zombies subreddit. In the post, he addressed the community about several things that were directed against him, kind of clearing the air, and within that post, there was two things seemingly related to the super Easter egg. The first one said this: "I won't reveal anything on the super Easter egg unless it's future hints when you guys have gotten anywhere or actually even try. Even then, it will be anonymous and up to you to believe it or not." He then said, "If you don't believe there is a super Easter egg, you're being kind of silly. This is no way like Hitler Zombie, Bus Route B, etc. This has verified inners, not just one random string in the code. It's ducking everywhere. Get your heads out of your arses and play the game. This is close to the end, not the end." This obviously set the community into a frenzy once again. The Real DF is saying that this is not the end, that the disappointment of the Revelations ending cutscene might be averted if there is a second ending cutscene at the end of this super Easter egg that the Real DF is suggesting exists. The community then started to think about the unanswered questions from past maps. Items like the dead Margwa heart in Shadows of Evil or the flask and candles within Golrod Krovi. People all thought these could be related to the eventual super Easter egg. But something a lot of people didn't really notice or talk about at the time was a cipher at the very bottom of the post by the Real DF entitled "Guys Please." Well, around 2 weeks later, on October 1st, we got this post by Oxen8 on the COD Zombies subreddit entitled "DF's second cipher solved, spoilers obviously." Once that cipher was decrypted, it said this: "There is one on every map after the Revelations Easter egg. Look, look hard. Once again, more confirmation from the real DF of a cross-map Easter egg or a super Easter egg, and revealing that there's one on every map. We weren't sure if that was referring to a step or an item of some kind, but either way, the list of possible items for the super Easter egg had since been reduced by 2, as 2 days ago on September the 29th, the community was finally made aware of the purpose of the flask and candles on Gorod Krovi, as they are definitely used to upgrade the monkey bombs. And though people looked and looked with some super Easter egg hunting streams kicking up around this time, nothing new was found. Flash forward to Thursday, October the 6th, the date of the all-platform release of Revelations on the PC and Xbox One. Furthermore, as per the real DF's first clue about the super Easter egg, the date that we're supposed to be getting the files that enable the super Easter egg within the game. Once the map came out for everyone, a few things were noticed. The fact that the original download size for PS4 and Xbox One were different, but a lot of people said that was because of a difference in compression between the two platforms. Someone tried installing DLC 4 without DLC 1 and 2 installed, and their DLC 4 install was actually smaller than their friends who had it all installed, meaning that seemingly if you have all the DLCs, your download was bigger because there were some extra files in there. A lot of people speculated that were related to the super Easter egg. And the last thing that absolutely sent the community into a frenzy was the fact that within the cutscenes folder for Black Ops 3 on PC, we found this file entitled ZM_Genesis, where Genesis is of course the code name for Revelations. The file was significantly bigger than the original ending cutscene for Revelations, sitting at 137 megabytes. Furthermore, that cutscene file, as well as all the audio files for DLC 4 Revelations, were encrypted on the PC, whereas for prior DLCs they weren't. But as the day wore on, we discovered that the file size for ZM_Genesis of 137 megabytes was exactly the same, down to the singular byte, as the intro cutscene for Shadows of Evil that sits in the same folder. Then another prominent data miner in the zombies community named DTZ Porter claimed he decrypted the cutscene video, and he claimed that it was just in fact the intro to Shadows of Evil. Now, the methods he used to support his claim that he decrypted the video file were held in contention by some members of the community, and this resulted in a huge split in the zombies community, specifically on Reddit, with people saying no, this wasn't decrypted properly, and those saying yep, this is legit. The moderators of the zombies subreddit sided with Porter, saying that it was legit, and removed any kind of post saying that it wasn't. And this was then followed by a 45-minute plus video by a huge zombies YouTuber named Mr. Raffle Waffles, who explained after a personal interview with Porter exactly how that decryption process worked, and played some never before heard audio from DLC 4 Salvation that was decrypted using the same method to kind of prove that it works. In terms of a final explanation for why that file is there, we don't have yet. I always said it's one of 3 options: 1, Treyarch is trolling us; 2, it was put there by mistake; or 3, the purpose of it hasn't actually been revealed yet. And after all that, we finally get to today, and asking the question, where are we at now with the super Easter egg? Well, after the ZM_Genesis file was revealed to be the Shadows of Evil cutscene, or at least widely considered to be that cutscene, people in the community on Reddit and YouTube both kinda said, well, the super Easter egg dream is dead. At the time, I made a video saying that's not entirely true, that while this file being the Shadows of Evil cutscene makes the likelihood of a separate second ending to Revelations less likely, it does not directly disprove the existence of a cross-map Easter egg. But as it stands today, the community has in general come to believe that there is no other super Easter egg within Black Ops 3 Zombies. And that's supported by the fact that there exists already a pseudo super Easter egg within the game, being the RK5 and the Wisp, and that one of the achievements on Revelations, its codename literally has super Easter egg within it. They also point to the fact that nothing definitive have been found inside the maps that actually point to a super Easter egg. And finally, with the ZM Genesis file being Shadows of Evil, that's kind of the nail on the coffin, saying that there is no super Easter egg. But there is a significant portion of the community that still believes there is a super Easter egg, a cross-map Easter egg to be found within the game. But at this time, the only real definitive evidence for this comes from the real DF, this data miner that we talked about earlier. Ultimately, with everything we know now, we can look back on the real DF's posts about the super Easter egg and say that either 1, he lied to hype up the community and that there was never any super Easter egg, and that seems like the least likely option. 2, that he misinterpreted the code, finding steps that he thought linked together that actually didn't, or at least didn't make it into the final game. Or 3, that he was right, that when he said, quote, "Get your hands out of your arses and play the game, this is close to the end, not the end, that he was telling the truth and there still is more to be found for this cross-map super Easter egg. But a few days ago, the real DF deleted his Reddit account, removing all his posts and comments site-wide. Now, he did recently post some de-encrypted sound files from Revelations on his YouTube account, but most of those videos have since been taken down. Remember that DF did say regarding future hits relating to the super Easter egg that, quote, even then it will be anonymous and up to you to believe it or not. This all leaves the yay side for the super Easter egg in a very awkward position, where we haven't found anything else yet, and one of its primary sources has seemingly deleted himself off the internet. Though that being said, my personal position does stand where it was a week ago, albeit shifted very slightly, and that is somewhere in the middle between yes and no, kind of leading to no. We don't have any definitive evidence besides the post by DF for the super Easter egg existing, but we also don't have any definitive evidence that there isn't a super Easter egg within the map. Though this side of the argument, the nay side, does seem to be the stronger argument and the one held by most of the community at this time. Ultimately, the question we as a community have to ask is this worth continuing the hunt for? Because even if there is a super Easter egg, if nobody's looking for it, odds are nothing will be found. It's been a wild ride since one of the first mentions of the super Easter egg over a month ago, and it's evolved into one of the most controversial and divisive topics in the zombies community ever. Well, that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smash that thumbs up button down below and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sorry for the lack of regular zombies news update videos over the last 2 days. There just isn't enough content for me to justify making a video on, but you guys know that as soon as something is dropped, I will. I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting more intel about Infinite Warfare Zombies this week, and then I'll kind of wrap up all the smaller tidbits from earlier in this week into that video. I would love to hear your opinions on this matter down in the comments. Again, make sure to keep it civil, but I want to thank you again for watching, and I'll see you with another Zombies news video sometime soon.